Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Professor Wino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, it's another very big and a very good day that I'm hosting two of the great gentlemen. One of them is Professor Ogola. We all know what happened yesterday on Monday and yesterday. That one I'll give him time to at least tell us the experience that he had in between those 2 days. But before that, I just want to give them time to introduce themselves. I've got one by the name of Dixon, that is a leader and founder of Youth for You Forum. I'll give him time to introduce himself, and then I'll also give Professor Ogola to tell us more about what happened yesterday before we jump into our discussion. Dixon, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Dixon Alwach. I'm the founder of Youth for Youth Initiative. Yeah, I'm privileged to be here. Thank you for the platform.
Okay, Karibu. Professor?
I am Professor Fred Ogola, and I am one of the co-conveners of Concerned Citizens Movement. Remember, the other convener is called Joe Mugachia. And of course, I'm sure you want me to explain what happened.
Exactly, yeah.
So what happens on Monday is that we call for a press statement in Chester House, and we had young people from Kayole, from Uruma, from Thika, from Kibra, from Kangwera and Kangemi. We were just going to talk about the state of the nation, and we were trying to tell people, though people say that the Gen Z revolution has flopped, we're telling them it has not flopped. There was just a ceasefire, and for each war there are several battles, and we have won other battles. We lost one on Nane Nane, and we are yet to go for the real battle of battles. And that battle of battles, we were supposed to begin with a wave on the Katiba Day yesterday, and the wave will move on, and the wave will culminate on Tisa Tisa, which is 9th of September. And this time, we want to learn from our previous mistakes, because the previous mistake in Nane Nane, we didn't have a definitive outcome. But the Tisa Tisa, the definitive outcome is to come out with a rejection of the university funding model. So after we made those statements and said that the economy is still poor, we told William Ruto that out of the things we did, we have 13 reasons why he still needs to leave office. So we launched those leaflets, and we are moving the city, giving people, as we are heading towards the launching of the signature. So when we reached Kideda and Kimathi Street, we were actually being waited for by the OCS of Central Police, with many other policemen. So the OCS of Central Police knows me very well, because he's locked me there severally. So when he saw me, he preferred to call me and to talk to me as a friend, but actually he was in the background, actually trying to strategize for my arrest. So he called people. He called policemen. He was actually mounting for the arrest. As I was talking to them, and we were chatting and even hugging and laughing, then he just eventually said, arrest him. I saw the really Judas. No, Judas also kissed Jesus just before he was actually arrested. After being arrested, I was thrown into the police car. When I was thrown in the police car, I was still telling them, guys, but we're just talking. Why are you arresting me? Then they started now beating me and everything. Then I discovered that because this is serious, I decided to record a video. And I recorded a video telling people why I'm being arrested and what was going on. So we're taken to the Central Police Station. We were beaten up. We were harassed. Phones were taken. I've even lost my car keys because I had the car keys in my pocket. Now I have to make a new car key. What is not the issue is not about me. These 68 young people were arrested with. The challenge was, how do we get them out? So the challenge was, how do we get them out of that place? That's why I stayed for 2 days, because there is no way you can be a leader. You're arrested with your people. Then you walk out of the cell and leave them behind. So actually, I was the very last person to leave. And this delaying to release us was because first we were supposed to stay in the cell overnight to avoid organizing on demonstration, which we are trying to say we were actually going to do. In fact, there are so many Kenyans ready to do these demonstrations. They realize that if they arrest the leaders, it won't happen. Then they discovered that towards in the morning when you're supposed to go to court, we discovered that first, the reason for arrest was baseless. So they tried to take this thing to Kilimani law courts. The Director of Public Prosecution said that there is no case to answer. They went to City Hall court, magistrate court. Also, it was rejected. So instead of releasing us on time, because we were supposed to be held for 24 hours, remember we were arrested just around 11:30. So by 11:30 the next day, we were supposed to have already been gone to court. They were still holding us, denying us cash bail, it was a prolonged process. I remember I have to thank my brother Kasmel Makaure, who came with his team. They pushed for arrest. No, when you're inside, whether you're powerful or not, you are beyond bars.
There's nothing you can do.
I thank him because he was there for more than 4 hours. I think that's leadership we see. He came with a team of other lawyers. LSK lawyers came in, were supported by the coalition of people's defenders. They worked so hard. The young people were released. When they left the station, when they were leaving me, when I was still back, they were actually jumping on me and hugging and saying, Professor, thank you very much for staying with us to the end. And I think that's what I'm saying. Young people, we have to know that we are with you. There is no way we shall say, come to the street and give a peaceful protest. When you're arrested, we run away. We don't run away because the Bible says that when the enemy comes and strikes, the shepherd cannot leave the sheep without a shepherd. So you are not a sheep without a shepherd. So when they say there are no leaders, we have leaders. We are faithful.
Just a question, Professor. Just that there during the arrest moment, you said you arrested at around 11:30.
Yeah.
Now, you arrested while trying to collect signatures.
Yes.
For a new constitution amendment.
Yes.
So are you seeing is there any other possibility or any possibility of you going back again to recollect the signatures? Because I know very well that somebody like Eric Omondi is really doing it. He started in the local. Yeah. Will it be easy for you to go back again in the street to recollect the signatures simply because of according to what has happened?
Yes, signature collection we launched first on 1st of June. That's the day again we were arrested. But do you know what makes the difference between us and Eric Omondi? Eric Omondi is collecting signatures about other things. But for us, we are collecting signatures on what touches the presidency of William Ruto. Because the signature should recall the president directly without passing through parliament. And I'm sure the president knows that any referendum that calls for his going home, everybody will go tell him home. Even I talked to elders from Marigat in Baringo. They will send him home. If I talk to my supporters, People's Assembly in Eldoret, in Kisumu, even in Sugoi, he will send him home. Nobody wants William Ruto. The only person who wants William Ruto to be in power are two people. One, someone who is benefiting from the evil that William Ruto is. Secondly, someone who is ignorant about the impact of keeping William Ruto in office. So the signature collection is ongoing. We have a digital platform where we're collecting them. And very soon we shall tell you we have crossed over the 100,000 mark. We moved to our 200,000. It doesn't have to be collected on the street only. But you see, street collection of signature is also to spend time with people to ask you questions because digital does not have the avenue to do what's called people assembly. So this people assembly is about people exchanging ideas where you hear what the citizens want and also hear what you want. Because remember, public participation is paramount in this process. So when we are doing this civic education on the street, we are collecting the street to also help people to understand what are we trying to do. But also to give people a chance to ask questions. Now, remember the day we shall go and present this thing to IBC. If they told us there was no public participation, you can see we're on the street, we're arrested, we're beaten. Kenyans receive the leaflets. So the policemen are helping us to give evidence to the citizens that actually we are collecting signatures, but also they are giving evidence to the citizens that they are opposing what we are doing. But what I want to say, there's something very remarkable. All the policemen told me they are comrades, and they told me they are part of the revolution. The only thing they do is they have to keep their jobs. And I urge Kenyans, keep your jobs, but give your signatures. Because your signatures will not be checked that you are a policeman or what. The signature will be checked by IBC, which has to protect your data. There's data protection policy that someone cannot expose you if you give your signature, even if you're William Ruto's minister or even your bodyguard of William Ruto. Give us your signature. We can still be able to use your signature. No one will know that is the bodyguard of so-and-so because we are not allowed to go and reveal who collected signatures, who brought signatures. The IBC will verify independently and also confidentially the signature. So the route to Ruto to go home must continue, whether he likes it or not.
So just a question of a yes or a no answer, Professor. So you being involved in the arrest and engaging with the streets and being taken to jail or something like that, you know, that commotion. can also be used as an evidence now when the IBC wants you to tell them if there was a public participation. It will be easy now for you to say that, okay, there was public participation during the collection of signatures because we were arrested, this and this happened.
No, you see what's happening. Being arrested helped the cause because there's something the government is stopping us from doing.
Yeah, okay.
So the fact the government is stopping us from doing something which is constitutionally protected already shows that what we are trying to do is right. Why we are saying so? Why do we want to recall William Ruto from that office? Is because he has not been able to uphold the constitution which he alleged he was going to do. It's called oath of allegiance. Okay. He had allegiance to the constitution of the people of Kenya. So because he's not keeping it, and we are trying to say the president has too much powers and has taken powers from the citizens, so we need powers to recall him directly. Because no, if you are working here, Boniface, and no one has time to oversight you, to evaluate you, and even to punish you when you misbehave, then you're having too much powers. So the fact that we are only collecting signatures, we are not even saying Ruto must go, we are collecting signatures.
Okay.
Then he orders his policemen to arrest you, detain you legally without a charge for more than 24 hours, then release you, and as you leave the gate, chase you with the tear gas. It shows that for sure that person needs to leave that office.
Okay, that is Professor Ogola. He has just given us the story of what happened in between from Monday to yesterday. Now, let us now go back into our discussion. And I will start by giving Dixon chance to answer this. I have a question, Dixon. Yesterday, President William Samoei Ruto hosted a lot of presidents. The president of Tanzania was here. The president of Southern Sudan was here. We had got Museveni was also here. Mama Samia was here. And other delegates. They were at the State House. They were launching Raila Amolo Odinga's bid. Officially, right now, we know that Raila Amolo Odinga is no longer going to participate in Kenyan politics. And according to them, they're going to use something like 50 billion Kenya shillings to do all these things, or the Raila's journey to AU. Yet, we know very well that in Kenya, we have got a very big problem. And the problem is JSS. This money that is being used for Raila's campaign, why can't they just decide to use it maybe? Because there's a lot of money in Kenya. Is there any other way that they can use maybe to minimize or to maximize this money to balance it so that at least JSS can also get theirs and Raila's campaign also can get it? Because at the end of the day, we have to accept that Raila becoming the chairman of African Union is also a benefit to Kenyans.
It's not only GSS. Today in the morning, I was watching some news.
Okay.
And the doctors are saying that there's a 5 months salary, delay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what I can say that since this regime came on board, it has become a very sweet and commendable thing in the nature of our politics, to cause mourning and cries to the poor and the extremely vulnerable people, destitute people on the ground. Yeah. And we can say that sometimes we suffer as per the consequences of our fathers. William Shakespeare says in Hamlet that our fathers, our co-fathers, they lost the courage to fight for what belonged to them. So I think that maybe is a result, because we lost the courage to choose what was right for us. The consequences now, the cries and all those. But again, when you see each and every sectors in Kenya, whether it's education sector, agricultural sector, in medicine and health sector, everyone is crying. It has become a filial obligation to do what we call obsequious mourns and cries for the majority and the people on the ground. It has become a role. Yeah, each and every person nowadays, if you go to even the poor grandmothers in the village, they are being restricted to grow even some plants. The poor farmers in the slopes of the mountains of Mount Kenya cannot do avocado farming because they have to pay taxes. Yeah. So this is not about junior secondary teacher alone. And we know that we have been persevering. There's what we call in my term obstinate condolement. Obstinate condolement are the constant cries that we are not going to persevere in obstinate condolement that are being caused by the pompous stubbornness, the stubbornness of this regime. They know very well that the junior secondary teachers should be paid. Have they paid them? They know that the salary increment of teachers should be there. They know that a nation cannot run. We can't run when the education sector is paralyzed. That has not happened. They have proved to us one thing. They have unfortified hearts. They have impatient minds. They cannot listen to the cries of the people on the ground. They are not listening to us. Yeah? They have a simple and very unschooled understanding. And that's why I don't know the criteria in which Kenyans do get convinced, to elect this kind of people into power. We have a lot of elites. We have a lot of people who understand the roots of the ground. A lot of people here in Kenya. We have a lot of people who are very much competent away from the tribe. We have a lot of people who have experience. Yeah? And we have a lot of people who have ever served even without positions. Yeah? So we know very well that the civil service, a lot of Kenyans are working in the sector of, through a lot of sector, all the sectors that I've mentioned, agricultural, education, even microbusiness, But these people, they have deliberately chosen to paralyze the civil service, We know that the bureaucracy of the government, the things that are happening, the unfair representation, where even there are some positions that are illegal in this country, they are being forced, so that they may enter into the matrix. And even that 50 billion issue that you are talking of is just part of it. We know that 50 billion, where will it come from? Will it come from the pocket of William Samoei Ruto or from the, the expenditure, the revenue that Kenyans are collecting? It is going to come from the, the expenditure that Kenyans are giving out, Yet the civil service is being paralyzed. So what does this mean? That these people, including the three arms of government, they are deliberately showing Kenyans that, we don't care about you. You go to the street, we have money, and we are going to spend it to finance things that are not
the way you want.
And there's nothing that you are going to do. That's what they're telling the people, the ground. That we know very well, teachers, that you guys, there should be a promotion that should be on board. We know very well that there are a lot of graduates in education sector that have not yet been employed. We know. And we have data. And even if you are to choose to give you jobs, we'll go to our villages, We'll be giving, the other time we saw the TSC forms being distributed in funerals. So, even the president, they look at these things. They know. So what are they telling the people of the crowd? Fuck you. That's what they're telling us. They're showing the middle finger. They're telling that we told you the other day, they told you that our character, that we were corrupt, we were in scandals, but you guys deliberately choose to bring the devil. You refused the angel of life. You brought in the angel, the
devil himself
of death. So that's what they're trying to show Kenyans, and it is so much uncouth. It is so much unhumane. These people are doing the will that are not even accepted in heavens. The Bible says that let it happen in heaven. The way it's happening in heaven.
Let it happen on earth as it
in heaven. So even these characters that these people are displaying, these pastors, because I heard they are calling themselves the bishops, they're the pastors, they're the people who understand the Bible even more than us on the ground.
But they quote wrong Bible.
Those I don't know. Maybe there are places where those quotes are being used. Maybe we may not understand. But what these pastors and the worship team members are doing unto us, we know very well that there are things that we must have to persevere. And as Kenyans, we must come into unity. Those people, majority of the people in the civil service sectors, I know these teachers are being, the highest amount of money that a teacher is being paid in this country, the senior most teachers are getting around 169.
Boniface, let me interrupt this guy for us.
Yes.
Because of the book he's carrying in his own hand, on page 85, I like his quote, Solomonic Economics. On page 85, Dick, they say faith and reason go together and are both mutually compatible and beneficial. Why this is true, you read and says that there can never be any real discrepancy between faith and reason. So even pastors you are quoting, they cannot tell us that in the world of faith is different from the world of reason. So science and faith go together. Just remember, let's continue and see where faith and reason goes together. Since the same God who reveals mysteries and infuses faith has bestowed the light of reason on human mind, because who created human mind is God.
Yeah.
And God also gives us faith, isn't it? You see that? That means that God cannot deny himself. Understand? Nor can truth ever contradict the truth. Because the truth is God has given us, me and you, reason, and even Boniface, isn't it? The same God has given me and you faith. So there's no way faith can go against reason, because the same come from the other.
Yeah.
So the pastors cannot tell us that they are right spiritually, but on this side we can be very wrong, let's say scientifically, but continue.
So I think even there should be a lot of sanitization, even in the church sector, because trust me, these are the people propelling poverty.
But not all churches are doing that.
Majority of the churches, these people have been they have been using the churches, they have been using the pastors, you know, whereby it has become an order of the day. They go there, they leave some peanuts. At 1 million, 2 million from the stolen money, the public money, they go and these pastors, they are the people preaching righteousness to us, and they know very well that the money that they are getting even from these people, this regime, because it has become a norm in this regime. There have been many other regimes. In fact, the president was saying that the late Mwai Kibaki was his role model. Okay, if I check the meaning of the role model and a mentor in my dictionary, is something that you are looking up to, and you are maybe trying to push as possible to be like them, right? So this should I call it the mentee?
The mentee, the mentee and the mentor.
The mentee of Mwai Kibaki, who happened also to be a pastor and the leader of the praise and worship team in this country, who is also the grand merchant of impunity, is the person, I guess, if I may quote right, and I guess the Constitution might protect me, I think these are the people inside of abductions that are happening here in Kenya. And we know that there are many bodies in charge of security, the likes of IPOA, the likes of NIS, the likes of even the DPP, all those.
Yeah.
I think these are the people using those bodies that are in charge to protect the people of Kenya, also to abduct and to kill them, right? The riddle, the quarry riddle, the Mbakasi quarry riddle, me have not yet solved it. I've not yet understood it. But these are the same people who are in power. They're the same people who are depriving the local mwananchi. You know, a teacher, I think, is the person that is earning less in this country, right?
Yeah.
And there are the majority also who are causing great impact. Like without education sector and without these teachers, there's nothing that can happen. And I also understand in my knowledge and understanding that the critical thing to a country, Nelson Mandela says that deny them education, and then you paralyze them. So at a point, education is the key, that unlocks poverty. We understand. So if a country, if the head of the state and the people who are in the power are trying to promote ignorance, by number one, refusing to pay teachers, number two, bringing in board the funding model that is so much punitive, that's so much aggressive to the people on the ground, paralyzing this sector totally and killing it. There are two things that they're trying to do at a time. Number one, driving in ignorance. Two, promoting poverty. And they have gone to an extent where they have overtaxed the people of this nation, investors. They have ran away. They are the private sector, a lot of private sector nowadays is closed. But so this is it. Our young people who may be privileged, because at this point it's a privilege. For example, me, I'm not going to be affected by that funding model. It is just a privilege, a big coincidence, because they don't care. So even us who are privileged to be away from that snare, we are not yet safe, because you are going to graduate, there's no job for you. So ignorance, poverty, unemployment. My big question is that why us? And why have they chosen to do this at this critical time? Where the other time we had corona pandemic, our people have not yet healed. Our poor parents, the majority of Kenyans, have not yet healed. Why are they doing that? Okay. In this new funding model, we may assume that parents may try as hard as they possible, maybe to get a muscle, maybe to pay even a little amount. Majority of our parents are farmers. So these people, I don't know whether this was planned. They brought for us fake fertilizers. no, this is the time of harvest. And majority of those people that are going to join, the parents maybe grew some crops and they were expecting to sell them. So the crops that were planted
with the fake fertilizer,
the harvesting, the crops that are being harvested now were planted by that fake fertilizer.
Yeah.
So literally, I think they protracted it in a way that we want to make sure that even they won't even afford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be no any other way.
There's no any other way.